Hey, welcome back to Score on Business. Our next guest is Marcus Cobb. Marcus, thanks for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited.
Yeah. So Marcus's current company is Jammber. The Las Vegas Review recognized Marcus as a computer prodigy when he was 21. That's a pretty big deal. I'd like to be a prodigy. A few years later, he's a seasoned entrepreneur, best known as the CEO and co-founder of the online music and tech platform Jammber.com, a place where raw talent can shine. So one thing is, Marcus, as I've chatted with you, I've been really impressed with kind of seeing where technology can take things and how that can benefit artists. What does Jammber do?
Well, I mean, first of all, let me say again, thanks for having me here. I think it's really indicative, if you will, or very in the spirit of how Nashville has been around Jammber in general. And the reason why I mention that is community has always been a big part of music. But as the community grows and the world shrinks, there's an opportunity for technology to make that more efficient, and that's where Jammber comes in. So Jammber does three things. It helps you find people you want to work with, talent, different skill sets, and then it helps you create projects around those teams so you can see what's going on. And then lastly, it helps you get paid. So you get paid faster, you can take electronic payments. And by doing that and bringing that technology platform to the music industry, we can help them focus more on the music and less on the business. So,
well, you know, one thing that I really like about what you all are doing is that there are so many people who come to Nashville to hit it big and usually country music, and you know, reality is not everybody is going to become one of the really big stars. And you've automated some things that allow them to focus, have one less thing to have to worry about.
Absolutely. It's the biggest question is, where do you start? It takes more than talent these days to break into the music industry. Not unlike being an entrepreneur, it takes a village to raise up a star, especially. So where do you start? How do you find that? What we've done at Jammber is brought all those tools and a roadmap, if you will, into one place to help them get to those different stages in their career, from independent artists all the way up through major labels.
Okay. So you have been involved in a zillion startups. So what should entrepreneurs understand about realistic expectations?
Well, I say this all the time. I think being an entrepreneur is a very nuanced experience. We have these extremes, if you will, that are somewhat juxtaposed by themselves, but have to be reconciled in one person. And expectations is a great example of that. What I mean is, on one hand, you don't want to tell entrepreneurs what their expectations should be. Entrepreneurs, we're creating things all the time, doing things all the time that people say are either improbable or impossible. But on the other hand, you want to be very conscious of what to expect. Being an entrepreneur is going to take a toll on your life. It's going to take a toll on your personal relationships, definitely your time, probably your bank account, and you need to go into that kind of eyes wide open. So both of those things need to be true.
Becoming an entrepreneur to make a bunch of money is probably
there are better ways to make money. There are better ways to make money. That's really well said.
So, is being passionate about your offering enough?
At Jammber, I was really, and I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, as we've talked about. At Jammber, I was really excited and passionate about my idea. But that doesn't mean anything. You have to be really passionate about your customers. Once your idea hits the light, and that initial passion is important because it gives you the fuel to pursue it further. But once that idea hits the light, it then belongs to your customers. And your passion has to shift from that very internal passion to this external passion where you're and you filter those ideas around the spirit of your business, but you give the customers what they're willing to pay for.
Exactly. Because kind of a part of being human is to tend to see things from our own perspective. And when somebody has an idea, it may sound great to them, but at the end of the day, are people going to pay for it? And what you're saying is, you're really saying, talking about customer focus.
Customer focus, because if you're a business is for profit, which means you have to have paying customers.
Right.
So you have to be really in tune, obviously, to what those customers want. But I recognize it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
It's one of the brick walls that entrepreneurs hit when they take this idea and they start trying to shop it around.
Mm-hmm.
We call it product market fit in the industry, but it's really just knowing what your customers care about and delivering that experience and that value. Yeah.
Exactly. So what is the difference between getting out and hustling and making some money compared to having a business model to work from?
That is a great question. In my opinion, making money is relatively easy, and we try to associate it with, and I'll explain that, I'll qualify that from an entrepreneur standpoint, but we try to say it's this personality type or this personality type. In reality, successful entrepreneurs span the gamut regarding personality types. It just takes a little bit of courage. The old adage is if you buy the pie, sell the slices, you make a profit, right? So I buy pizza for 20 bucks and sell 10 slices for $2, I've made a profit.
Yeah.
That's very different than having a business model and having a business that can scale. I still believe that making 40 grand a year working for yourself is better than making 40 grand a year working for someone else. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But if you want to scale that beyond that into millions or billions of dollars or whatever it might be, you can only do that if you understand your business model. A business model is the machine that takes your cost and puts that into an infrastructure that can scale while still delivering value at a quality level to your customers and maintaining profits. That's very difficult to do as just one person if you want to scale it out. Yeah, so to me that's the difference. Anyone can get out there and hustle and have fun doing it.
Right. But you've got to think ahead.
You've got to think ahead, and you've got to understand how the pieces work together.
Yeah.
If you're in telecom, you don't want to act like a pizza chain would. Right. There are different principles involved in our business models. And same thing for us as a technology platform. Yeah. We don't want to be a music studio per se.
Right.
But so we have to understand our business model intimately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about hiring the right people.
You tell me.
Well,
You know, it's probably one of the most difficult things to do, especially if you're a sole proprietor first. As a sole proprietor, you start off doing everything, and that becomes your brand, almost your identity, and you take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah.
But again, going back to scale, when it comes time to scale out, how do you do that if you don't have people around you? I touched on it earlier. It takes a village. Very succinctly put, the challenge is to find people with a shared vision, work ethic, and skills that complement your business, and trying to find a way to incentivize them even before you can pay them fair market value.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's really about having like-minded people. And I'm not talking about from the exact same backgrounds, just saying you want harmony there.
Right.
But as far as work ethic goes, really just to touch on that again.
Okay.
It's really important. It's impossible to do it by yourself.
Right.
For any length of time, in my opinion. So.
Awesome. Well, Marcus, thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
And ladies and gentlemen, make sure to remember we've got all these different seminars that are available. ScoreNashville.org. We'll see you next week.